Hello, how are you?
Hi, Mike. I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's good to see you. How are you doing? I
Sure,
like
thank
your
you.
Christmas tree in the background in the spirit.
Thank you. Yeah, it went up a little bit earlier than I would have liked, but happy wife, happy life, so they say. Where are you in the world at the moment?
I'm currently in London. I was in Durban in South Africa for the majority of the lockdown, and then I found my way back eventually, and I'm here in the grey at the moment. But
Yeah,
trying to keep the keep the joy and feeling inside in the home. So
absolutely.
yeah.
What was it like in South Africa? Because I've spoken to a few people from sort of Europe and Australia about their lockdowns, but I haven't heard from anybody who was in South Africa. What was that like?
It was interesting. I mean, they did it quite a lot, like more dramatically over there. So alcohol and cigarettes and tobacco was all banned for the whole time,
Wow.
like a good couple months, which from my perspective is good just to get a detox. But I think it for a lot of people is very frustrating. South African culture has quite a lot of alcohol, but I think it was good in the long term because things have been kind of like progressing and kind of easing up better than they have here.
Hmm.
So yeah, things are kind of like moving and coming back to some sort of normality over there. So I think it was good for that to happen. But yeah, it was. I mean, from my own bubble, it was enjoyable for me. It was peaceful, warm, and yeah, very home. I mean, yeah, just it was nice to be in that environment for that amount of time. But I think for a lot of people there, it was tough. Like some people, didn't have access to supermarkets, and like supermarkets eventually when they opened, like the queues were just ridiculously long, and it wasn't that well thought out at the time. I think a lot of people did suffer, but I'm hoping that it's kind of easing up now, and things have gone back to some sort of normality.
I'm glad to hear that. So it's an interesting how we do without things and then we'd end up sort of not needing them. And so do you think the lack of alcohol and cigarettes, tobacco, do you think that would have a knock-on effect in the rest of the sort of the culture out there? Is that going to be as important maybe as it was before?
I hope that I'm hoping that a lot of people took the opportunity to kind of readjust and reevaluate the amount of consumption, because it's quite a lot. But I don't know. I think it's so embedded in the culture. I think it will probably take more than just a couple months and people were finding very strange ways of actually making their own alcohol, which was quite fun, like fermenting pineapple juice in quite interesting ways. But yeah, I think it was a really, really great opportunity for people like myself who wanted to just like rid myself of any kind of toxic things, that any addictions or whatever, like nothing too hectic, but yeah, just an opportunity to say, okay, it's not accessible, so let's really try to continue in that way. And I think that's helped me a lot this year to just I don't know, just give myself a lot more self-care and more discipline in self-care as well.
Brilliant. So you describe yourself as a sonic poet. For those, the uninitiated, what is a sonic poet and how does it differ to an R&B singer or musician?
So a sonic poet, so basically sonic is just a vibration, it's a sound. So I'm a musician and I'm a poet at the same time, and I just fuse those in my performance and in my art. So I've kind of created my own unique way of delivering that by using looping and stuff to create soundscapes and kind of like a background space to deliver the poetry. And yeah, just so I was just trying to find a way to describe what it is that I do, and that's what I came up with. But in my music, in my recorded music, it's more it's probably less sonic poetry actually, but it still is in the sense that my lyrics are very poetic, but I'm more I'm singing them in my recorded music. But when I'm doing more live stuff, then it's more obvious to see that what the sonic poetry is.
Absolutely, because you're all, if not most of your the instruments or your voice, you use your looping, and so I think that is a great definition, because it's all the vibrations from you. When did you first discover the looping pedal?
Oh wow, so I actually had a really beautiful experience how many years ago? Maybe around 6-7 years ago. I did a one-woman show at the Battersea Art Centre. I stumbled upon a whole group of wonderful beatboxers and young people that were doing incredible things with beatboxing, and they were using the loop pedals, and that was the first time that I just stumbled across a room and just discovered it and was like, this is so dope, like I have to join in and find a way, and that was the first one. So I incorporated it in that piece, in that show that I did called Virtual Insanity, and it was at that time that I just discovered it was like a whole new world, a whole new realm, and I was so excited, and was like, okay, I have to get my own one at this like now, and that's how it started.
So obviously your South African and your London heritage are very important to the way you sound and the way you look. Your whole style is so clearly influenced by that, and it is a really well done mesh of the two. Do you ever feel like you feel more affinity towards one more than the other, or does it sort of flow and changes as you flow and change?
Yeah, I've been really blessed to have grown up in both places, so that's been really, really nice to be able to kind of like shapeshift into either side. And I'm really grateful to my mother for taking me back to South Africa at a young age and introducing me to my Zulu culture, and that was where I learned Zulu, because I was a child and I wanted to play with other children and they were all speaking Zulu, so it was either like I had to find a way to communicate or I was just going to be on my own. And that was a really, really kind of a way in which I kind of romanticize in my head of how I ended up developing in that side of things. I think especially as a mixed or biracial or mixed person, it's really it can be really important to just like make sure that you have roots and have that grounding in both of places where you come from. I think English culture is so easy to just adapt to, and it's spread all over the world, so it's kind of almost forced upon you anywhere you go. You can probably get like an English breakfast, say, or things like that. But the other side, I think it's really important, especially if you're living in the UK, to make a connection with the other side of yourself, because it gives you a sense of identity and an ability to express yourself from that identity. I had actually quite challenging times growing up with issues with identity, because I didn't ever feel like I really fit in either or place. But growing, it's like, it's something that eventually I found pride in, and it is important for me to express both places in my art.
Fantastic. Where do you sort of hear where do you see your art and your sound developing over the next however many years that you'll be playing?
I really want to work with more jazz musicians. I think like that's always, I come from a jazz family, so I'm always very interested in finding my way back there, but also it takes more training and more studying on my part. But what's really interesting about jazz is I feel like you study loads of it, and then it's just like, okay, now do anything, which is quite fun. But it takes a while. I think also the standard of jazz that I come from, it's always been quite daunting to go there, because it was such exceptional music that it always felt like almost unachievable. So I would like to go more jazz, but also I'm interested in making music that is just healing, and that goes in alignment with my own spiritual development, that can be included in healing spaces that people can use and connect with through meditation, or things that are really easy to just digest and enjoy that way. But at the same time, I'm working with some really, really cool artists based in London that are more like beat heavy. So I guess just always keeping a balance and expressing all sides of myself as much as I can as I go on.
Absolutely. That sounds like sort of two almost contradictory sounds, really. Sort of like London beat heavy can be not the most calming or meditative, not used for meditation, I would suggest. But I mean, I think even just your live stuff compared to your recording stuff is almost in two worlds. And so I think that's fine. I think to be able to be so, to be so versatile is not a thing that you should avoid. I think if anything, that only makes your sound and you so much more interesting.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I do use, like, I didn't think that my music would be kind of used for meditation purposes, but my friend did a yoga class to my EP yesterday actually, and it was so beautiful and so wonderful, and it worked. And I was like, oh, okay. I think my mum was always like, just play your music to your classes. I'm like, this is, for me, is quite cringy, the idea of like speaking, teaching, directing people in yoga and classes, and then also having my music on at the same time. So it was really beautiful to see somebody else doing that, and it was nice to know that it still works using it for moving meditation. And my other friend who's a yogi, a teacher, and teaches me, he uses like a lot of quite fast-paced music, like drum and bass and stuff like that. And I always thought, when it comes to yoga, that it's all very slow and Indian flutes and whatever, and that's beautiful at times, but also it's really nice to know that you can have that energetic side, and that's also just as meditative. It's just a different type.
You, I understand you're training to become a yoga teacher, is that correct?
I am. I'm really, really excited about this place that I'm in, this journey. It feels really beautiful to be able to take my experience. I've been doing yoga for about 10 years now, and it feels really nice to be able to teach. And I always have at home, and always getting people to join in with me, and always like kind of preaching about the benefits of it all the time. So it just feels perfect to now be qualified and able to teach properly and host people and invite people into my space to come and expand in that way. Yeah.
How's that going to work? Is it going to be like a Zoom thing, or are you going to wait till we can do it, face to face? How's that going to work now?
I teach on Zoom already. Yeah, I'm already teaching on Zoom. So I do my classes every morning, and also I've got some people, clients that I'm teaching. It's been really beautiful I've had people reaching out to me because of kind of anxiety and watching them anxiety and mental health in the workspace. And it's been really nice to know of companies that are finding ways to actually accommodate people that are feeling anxiety and feeling issues with their mental health in the workspace. It's something that is very new but is so necessary, because I think especially in London, a lot of people are faced with, like, it's so fast paced and go all the time, and demands so much of you, even after you might finish work. And I think also the way that technology has evolved, where your emails are on your phone now, so you're almost expected to just like respond immediately, and it's just constant. And I think it's so important for us to find ways of balancing that out, and really taking it seriously in terms of finding methods to assist us with our mental health. And yoga, breath work, and all of the things that I've been training in have been really, really great tools to share. So I'm excited to be somebody that can share that with people.
Brilliant. You're such I don't know how you find the time to do it all. It's very impressive. Who's your sort of favorite artist at the minute? Who are you really liking?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to say a friend of mine who I love with all my heart. Her name is Cleo Soul, and she's just dropped a really dope album, I think this year. But I've been listening to it loads, and she's just got such great energy, such such amazing ability and message in her music, and it's not throwaway. It's just really great to digest and relate to, and I'm really loving her expression at the moment, so check her out. I'm also listening to a guy called Tall Black Guy is his artist name. He makes really great production and like beats, and I really love his sound as well. So those are the two that I'm listening to quite a lot at the moment, but yeah, also just focusing on making my own bits as well with some cool artists from London too at the moment.
Anything you can share? Any exclusives you can give for us today?
Exclusive. I'm working with artists that I've worked with in the past, like Emma V, who's awesome, dope producer from London. I'm also working with a friend of mine called Dornick, who also makes incredible music, so I'm really excited about embarking on some stuff with him. So those are the exclusives that are in the pipeline at the moment that I can share.
Well, thank you so much. Where can people find you, follow you online?
At It's DemiMa is my Instagram handle. It's DemiMa.com, my website, which has all my information on there. And yeah, email me, reach out on Insta. However, like, I'm really open and happy to connect with people, so I'm here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Mike. It was great connecting with you.
And I'm feeling so happy right now. I really do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great day.